Welcome to this next video. In this video, I'm going to cover the big picture and helping you understand what it takes to create a successful online business. Now, a lot of times what happens is that people start a website, they pick a product, they start a website, and they start making a little bit of money, but they really don't treat this like a business. In this video, I want to go through and cover some of those things that I've learned over the past 10 plus years in creating online businesses and actually treating them like businesses, of which I've sold many of those businesses off. And so I wanted to help you understand and see pretty much what it's going to look like from start to finish and kind of that end point, what you're trying to get to, and help you really understand the big picture and some things that I wish I would have known when I was first getting started. So really just understanding the big picture is what we're trying to get here. Really, there is a difference between building a website and launching an online business, and we'll actually get into what some of those things are. But here's my definition of a business. It's something that you can set up and it works regardless of whether you're there or not. So there is a difference between a business and a job. Let's just take a hypothetical right now. Let's say that you're currently working a 9-to-5 job every day. Whether you like it or dislike it, I don't know. But let's just say that your goals are to quit that job eventually from the money that you're making off of your websites. Okay? Now, what you want to look at is if you're going to go and you're working 8 hours a day right now and you want to quit your job to then go work on your website for 8 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours a day, you may rethink your strategies, because I know that sometimes people complain about their jobs because, oh, they don't make enough money, they don't get appreciated enough, whatever the complaints might be. But understand, if you don't think you get appreciated now in your business, in your job, oh my heavens, when you run your own business, you're the guy, you're the gal. Nobody's going to appreciate you except for you, and so don't worry about that side of it. So let's look back at this again, this definition. Something that you can set up and it works regardless of whether you're there or not. So if you decide to take a vacation, the business will still run. Again, if you're required to be there for this business to function, it's not a business, it's a job. Okay? And so I want to help you and walk you through the process of setting up a business, not a job. I love to read. That's one of the things I love to do. I love to read. And so I really want you to go through, and I will make suggestions throughout this course of different books that I've read that I have found very, very helpful as I've gone through this process. I'm not saying it's part of the course curriculum or anything like that, but I think they're great books for you to read to really get some of these concepts that I'll be teaching. So this first book that I'm going to make a suggestion for is called The E-Myth Revisited, and we'll put a link to that book in the content section of this page. But understand, it's called The E-Myth Revisited, and it's by Michael Gerber. And it talks about this very fact that to create little franchise systems and create duplicatable systems for your business to be able to run without you there. So we'll get into that in this video, but I just wanted to point that out, that that's a great book for you to get this concept in further detail if you'd like. So let's take a look. There's 4 keys to your success. In order to treat this like a business and have long-term success, there's 4 keys that you need to remember. The first is you must treat your website like a business. Not only does the IRS and any of your whoever does your taxes for your country, not only do they care about this, but it's also important for you to have that mindset that, hey, this is a business, not just a hobby and not just something little project that I'm working on. Because if you focus on it as a business, you'll start to do things differently than if you were just treating it like a hobby. You take it more seriously. You put in the time needed to have success in this business. So number 1 is you've got to treat this like a business. Number 2 is you've got to make sure that you're devoting the necessary time to succeed. Look, I'm the first person to admit that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a snap your fingers and voila, you're making a bunch of money online. I know that there's all sorts of websites out there that say, hey, with 3 buttons, click 3 buttons, and you'll be making X amount of dollars, which I just get so ticked off when I see those because it's just not true. Right? And here's the thing. There is no substitution for good hard work. Now, we're going to try to show you some things in which you can minimize the work and the effort put into this, but you still have to do the work involved. So please, make sure you set up, you devote enough time per week to succeed at this. When I was first getting started and I was working a full-time job, a part-time job, and going to school full-time, right, I had to find time every day to work on my websites. Otherwise, I would have never been where I'm at today. There's no way I would have ever had success with just, an hour a week or whatnot. So when I was first getting started, I was putting in anywhere between 10 to 20 hours per week trying to get this up and running. So whether that's the time frame you're going to need, if you have more time, good, put more time into it. If you have less time, put as much as you possibly can in. But bottom line is, put enough time in to make sure that you're going to be successful at this. The third key is be persistent. And this is one of the things that I think that every internet entrepreneur, which is what you are, needs to have. Because look, I realize you're going to go through a slight learning curve, and I kind of joke, and that's in jest when I say slight, because you've got a lot of stuff that you're learning that most of the time people who are doing this have never done before. So you're going to have hiccups, you're going to have frustrations, you're going to have moments where you just want to quit. And that's normal. Understand that. That's normal. So did I. But the biggest thing I can suggest to you is be persistent. And that persistence will pay off if you continue methodically to do what we're going to teach you and to continue to work on your business. That's what's going to pay off, is being persistent. And then finally, the last key is to create systems to be able to duplicate yourself. Now, I kind of gave a preview to that when I mentioned the E-Myth Revisited, that book by Michael Gerber. But really, you as the business owner, you need to create systems for your business so that way they can work on their own. Let's take an example here. McDonald's. While I may not be the biggest fan of McDonald's food, I am a huge fan of the way they run their business. McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year business. Now, no offense, but when you go to walk into a McDonald's, who do you generally see working there? You see a bunch of teenagers. Now, me personally, I don't know about the rest of you, but me personally, I would not trust a teenager to run my business. I don't know about you. Now, if you can trust teenagers to run your business and you have a multi-billion-dollar system, to me that sounds like a great business. Okay? So, they do that because of the systems. I mean, walk into any McDonald's. I've been to McDonald's in Hawaii, in Spain, all over the place, and no matter which McDonald's I'm going to, you walk in, always on the left-hand side. So your left-hand side, as you're facing the counter, you have the fries on the left-hand side. You hear that beep, 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 and you know, hey, the fries are done. So they pick up the fries, they dump them out, then they dump salt on it. Everywhere you go, Spain, U.S., anywhere you go, UK, it's all the same, right? Now, you then on the right-hand side have your drinks and whatnot. It's because it's a system. Anybody can do it. So if you create proper systems and create good systems for your business, you then don't have to be working in your business, you can be working on. So these four keys to success that I have found in my experience that will really help you succeed overall and get the big picture of your business. Now, like I said, there's two main jobs that you have as the owner, as the entrepreneur. You've got two main jobs, okay? So these two roles are, first, you've got to get educated. And I am a huge proponent of education. It's one thing to get educated. It's another thing to actually implement that education and what you've learned. So number one role is to get educated and then apply that education. And number two is to create systems. You as the business owner need to create the systems that run your business. If you go back to my definition of what a good website, or excuse me, what a business is, it's a system of systems, right? And that's what we'll define it as, a system of systems. You have your customer service system, you have your fulfillment system, so on and so forth. And so we need to, as the business owner, create these systems to make sure that we are not having to work 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day in our business. We can actually focus our efforts and spend it on time growing our business and hire or outsource or get these other tasks that still need to get done, don't get me wrong, but we can have other people do those for us, okay? I'm just going to take a step back and maybe get on my soapbox for a second because I feel very, very strongly and passionate about this. I have seen it time and time again. In the almost 10 years that I've been online, 6 of those years I've been teaching people in live seminars how to make money and how to do what I've done online. And it's very sad to me to have somebody who's been in one of these conferences, and I talked to him a couple years later just saying, I had to stop doing this because I was working too hard. And I said, man, you must not have paid attention to that section where I was teaching you about how to work on your business and how to get other people to do the work for you. Now, as a caveat, look, I'm not saying take advantage of people. What I'm saying is get them to do the work for you, and that's what we're talking about here. Okay? And so, and I take care of anybody who works for me, whether they're employee or whether they're 1099 or whether they're contract work, whatever it may be. I take care of those people because I want them to continue to work for me, and I understand the value of human interaction and that human labor that I need to have if I don't want to be the one working 12, 14, 16 hours a day. So, get educated and create systems. Okay? So, what do you think we're going to start off with? Well, I'm going to teach you the systems and the specific system that I have used successfully over and over and over again over the past 10 plus years to make money online. Now, here is the secret. You'll find out, as you're going to spend a lot of time with me as we go through this course, that I am no smarter than anybody else on this planet. Now, I wish I could say I were, that I could figure all this stuff out, but no. I have gone through trial and error, trial and error. I've tried things. If it worked, great. If it didn't, oh well, I moved on. But I took the things that worked, and I stuck with those, and then I continued to test and to finally see what works. And as I've done that, I've refined and created a system. And that system is what I'm going to teach you. Now, every once in a while, somebody will say to me, hey, Joe, look, you're telling me this system, and that's great and all, but I really want to know how to get traffic to my website. Which, don't get me wrong, traffic is important, and we'll talk about that. But it is not the most important thing. It's what do you do with that traffic is more important than the traffic you get. So even if you want to know the traffic, that's great. Guess what? It's part of the system. We've got to know what to do with those visitors that come to our website before we get that traffic, and that's what's important to me, is how do you take that visitor, that traffic you have coming to your site, convert them into a buyer. And that's what this system covers, and that's what I'm going to teach you, because that's the most important part to this whole process. Don't get me wrong, traffic is a part of that system. So, step one. Now, the way my brain works is I've got to have everything kind of in a linear fashion. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. So that's what I'm going to teach you. I don't know if that's the way you learn, but that's the way I learn, and that's the way I'm going to teach you. So step 1 is to choose a product. Okay? Now, this is the 30,000-foot view. As we go throughout the rest of the course, I'm going to break this down for you, and we're going to get into it, and it's going to be more granular as we go into each step. Step 1, you need to choose a product. Step 2, you need to build your website. Step 3, launch that website, make it go out on the internet. Okay. Step 4, you need to drive some initial traffic to that website. We're talking small amounts here to use as testing. Step 5 then is to test and improve. So in step 4, we're starting to drive some initial traffic to our website, and then I'm going to start testing things on my website and improving my website to the point where I'm pretty satisfied that, hey, this is a good website. It converts extremely well. I know what to do with those visitors, how to turn them into buyers. Once I've done that, then, yeah, I'm going to throw some more traffic onto my website, which is step 6. And then finally, step 7 is ongoing testing. I'm never going to stop testing in the life of my business. But this is it. This is the 7-step process. This is the 30,000-foot view of the system that I follow every single time I publish a website. And again, it has absolutely nothing to do with me. The success I've had has everything to do with this system right here that I'm going to continue to teach you throughout the rest of this course to help you take your website and how to start making money with it, and how to systematize that process so you can do it over and over and over again and just continue to duplicate that process.